Hey Exercise Confidence listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I will be sitting down with Valerie Alcarez. Now, I can't stress it enough. This woman is just one of the most amazing human beings on the face of the planet. She competed in the Miss America organization over 60 times. We're going to get to hear about some of the trials that she faced, as well as some of the triumphs that she was able to experience. She has some beautiful wisdom that she dispenses in just the most eloquent way. Valerie is one of my role models, and I'm so proud to call her my friend. And I'm very proud that I get to share her story with you today here. So without further ado, let's dive into our episode with Miss Valerie Alcarez here on Exercise Confidence. Oh, happy International Women's Day.
I know, right?
I love it. Fitting. And I know, and I'm interviewing one of my favorite women who is so empowering to other women and whose confidence inspires other women.
But who has another inspirational woman on the other side of the screen looking right back at her.
You're the sweetest. See, that's why you won. You know how many times you won Miss Congeniality?
I have no idea.
You should count it. I want to know. It's probably well in the 30s or 60s. You probably win it almost every time you compete, I bet.
I feel like it's probably in the 30s-ish.
Easily. As I mentioned, I'm sitting down with a very inspirational woman. Her name is Valerie Alcarez. She is an incredible inspiration. She really is. So Valerie's claim to fame in my life is that we met while competing for Miss California, but we met at the local level, actually. So we're just going to talk about how this woman has probably competed the most out of any single person ever in the history of Miss America. She's literally the embodiment of what Miss America is and should be. And we're going to have a good time getting to know her. So thanks for being here today, Val.
Thank you so much. And before we even start this, I have to kind of back up on JR's words here, because I'm also equally in the presence of a very inspirational woman who actually helped guide me a lot through my own journey. So this is all about women empowering women, and I'm glad to have somebody like JR here who really loves to highlight women in her life that she's also inspired as well.
You're going to make me cry.
Oh no, we just started.
Well, I love and appreciate you. So I'm so happy that you said yes, and I'm so excited to share your story, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that resonate with you in many different ways as we get to know you more. Yeah, so speaking of getting to know you more, I like to do this in the beginning. I give each guest 20 seconds to tell me about themselves, whatever they would like. You've done 20-second answering questions with onstage questions, so you're prepped. You're ready. It's just like another interview for you. 20 seconds. Tell me about Valerie. Go.
Okay. Valerie is first and foremost a pageant addict. Been doing them since the age of 13, but we'll talk about that more later. On the side, I love really weird foods and traveling a lot. I've been to 48 out of our 50 United States. And on my travels, I've tried all kinds of weird foods like silkworms and crickets and sea urchins. So you could call me a connoisseur of fun states and also fun foods. And in my free time, I love to spend time with my dog. Today was his 11th birthday. So if you're wondering what a retired pageant girl does, she throws 11th birthday parties for her puppy.
And we love to see it.
And we love it. And, that's just me. I live each day in the moment. And I, just like with my dog's birthday, I embrace every little thing in life because I don't take anything for granted.
Oh, see, we just love her. She's already given us words of wisdom, and we've barely started. Valerie, you competed 63 times in 12 years with the Miss America organization.
That's correct.
And that was between two different states?
That was between two different states. So that was between the Pennsylvania and Miss California systems.
Were you born and raised in California?
Born and raised in California, actually. Born and raised specifically in Anaheim, California. I started out as a teen, age 13, doing Miss Garden Grow's Outstanding Teen. I did the teen all the way up until I graduated high school, and for my first 2 years of university, I went to Drexel University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I was introduced to the Miss Pennsylvania system. And I competed there for 2 years until I came back to California to finish up my degree.
That's awesome. What are you getting your degree in?
I'm actually a double major right now. I'm a double major in biology and sociology, and I've actually also completed my CNA license, and I'm hoping to actually go into RN credentials as well, nursing.
She does it all, I'm telling you. And you currently work at a hospital, right?
I do. I work for St. Jude Medical Center in Fullerton, California. Big medical system.
And Valerie was recently promoted in her job, so this woman is a boss babe to the max.
I am. I'm very excited. I was just recently promoted to the regional training coordinator position for St. Jude, so I train the incoming staff for Southern California, Northern California, and also our high desert facility as well, too. And I'm very honored to have been given this privilege, and especially at such a young age in really such a male-dominated field. It's really an honor for me to be able to showcase my individual talents in this field.
Again, International Women's Day, I love it. Because it is something that I like to see, is women taking the steps and really putting themselves out there and saying yes to opportunity that maybe wasn't there before. So, yeah, let's talk about that, what it's like being chosen to be this leader and this trainer in a field where it's mostly male-dominated. Like, how did you create the confidence to just own that position and really give it all you got?
I think I really had to approach this from a standpoint that they were not going to make this decision based off of gender, race, socioeconomic background. I was under the impression that these judges, these interviewers, were going to make a decision based on merit and who had positively contributed to the community. So without our St. Jude community, I've really immersed myself just at the ground level, employee level. I was creating workflows, I was training new hires, I was doing things well above my pay grade to really show them how committed I was to the position and how qualified I was to do it. And it's a scary thing going in there being the youngest interview in the room. I'm only 25, so this was a really big deal. I have a lot of people there that have much more seniority than me, so again, just walking in with that mindset of, they're not going to be sexist, ageist, or anything like that, really helped me to propel myself to submit my application and put myself out there to potentially get this job. And there were scary parts of it. This is a salaried position, so I entered the world of negotiating my own salary.
Oh.
Which, in honor of International Women's Day, it's really really showcases the fact that we as women have taken such great strides in the workplace to move towards equal pay and equivocating the roles that men and women play in certain companies. And it was really a privilege for me to be able to negotiate that at a round table with my superiors and let them know that my value is not determined by my gender, and that my value was determined by what I was able to produce, regardless of whether I was female or not.
Creating that mindset for yourself before you went into the interview, how important do you think that was to you getting the position?
It's important. I think conviction and self-conviction specifically is really what is going to drive you to be able to transcend gender roles and stereotypes that are placed upon you. It wasn't just the fact that I was a female. I was young, 25. I have not finished my degree yet, so in most company standards, I'm technically considered still uneducated. And I'm also a minority. I'm a Latino woman in this community, so I fought a lot of trials, tribulations, stereotypes, and conformities that are placed already upon me before I even walked into that interview room. So having that mindset of confidence and conviction was the first step in me making my way into this role. And without that, I don't think I would have made it. If I didn't believe that I was capable of this role, it wouldn't have been mine.
I love that mindset and the way that you just said, if you didn't believe it, then it wouldn't have been.
Right.
Stereotypes. That is something that I think a lot of us allow to affect our own self-view.
I agree.
And now, switching gears a little bit to the pageant stereotype, you, in my opinion, defy the pageant stereotype because a lot of people think that pageant girls are mean and catty and they don't want to help anybody, but you have the biggest heart for service. You are the nicest woman in any room. You have the biggest heart of gold.
Aww.
And was that something that you found to be an asset in feeling confident in the pageant world, or do you think it was something that made you a little self-conscious in the pageant world?
I think it made me a little bit self-conscious. I'm going to be really transparent here. I think it's important to acknowledge the things that make us uncomfortable, especially when you are engaging in an activity that maybe people didn't think you were meant for. You know, you mentioned that pageants have the stereotypes of being catty and not nice, and I wanted to defy that by really trying to find the beauty and the genuine kindness in every single person I encountered. And that's hard because sometimes we look at ourselves and we maybe not be able to see the beauty in ourselves. And the first things first is you have to close your eyes and you have to see what other people see in you. And that's what I try to do when I encounter other girls, is see what the people around them see. Because when you're able to do that, you're able to find beauty in just about everything.
I don't understand how you weren't just picked to be Miss California this year. Oh my goodness.
And there's so many other stereotypes too in pageantry, you know. When you ask the public, just the public themselves, the United States of America, what they think of a pageant girl, automatically, just by default, it's thin, young, maybe blonde or brunette, maybe Caucasian. There's just that stigma that's surrounding what a pageant girl looks like, feels like, and is like. And that in itself was also something that was hard for me to break, something that was hard for me to come to terms with because, you know, part of being self-conscious wasn't just about my personality. It was about how I was, how I looked, and how I was portrayed. And, you know, being a plus-size woman in the pageant circuit is something that really does come from within. It comes from that confidence and conviction that I talked about earlier, because without that, I don't think I would have been able to walk out and be myself and show that it's okay to be a little bit different than everybody else around you. I walked into Miss America wanting to inspire at least one person. And if I couldn't believe in myself and look at myself and see myself as beautiful, I could not expect somebody else to do that.
I can completely empathize with you on that. When we were both competing, I'm short-ish, you know, I'm just north of 5'3". I play rugby. I grew up playing softball. I'm very thick. I'm brunette.
You have the most amazing, beautiful body curve. Oh gosh, I'm just so jealous of you, JR.
Well,
you have no idea.
Likewise, sister, because Valerie Alcarez has the most $1 million legs in the world. I will tell you. She is tall and her legs for days are just gorgeous. So we appreciate each other's qualities.
We do. And every woman that I've encountered in Miss America is absolutely stunning, beautiful, breathtaking from head to toe. And it's because, again, I look at them not objectively. Beauty is not objective or subjective. You have to look at what a woman's value is beyond her physical characteristics. If we focus on the physicalities, then we're not focusing on the true beauty that a woman has.
So what did you think of the swimsuit portion then? Because I know you got to compete in that type of Miss America when they still had swimsuit. And then you also got to compete after they took it out. You
know, this is funny because right away when Miss America decided to take away the swimsuit competition, I actually had people come up to me and say, wow, I bet you're happy that swimsuit's gone.
Oh.
And you know what? I was not happy. I loved swimsuit. My first local preliminary that I won in swimsuit.
Oh.
My second local preliminary, I also won with swimsuit. I'd never seen the swimsuit competition as a deterring factor to my success in Miss America. Ever. So having it removed did make me a little bit sad because I love the traditions of Miss America. However, being in Miss America, I'm always willing to embrace change, and I'm like a sponge. I soak everything up. So when they decided to make this change, I was like, oh man, I'm going to miss swimsuit. But then I thought, you know, they're changing the vision of what Miss America is supposed to look like, and I'm completely on board with that. And I'm this new Neo Miss America launched me into a completely different trajectory within the organization. So I love 1.0, I love 2.0. Both of them shaped me equally as importantly.
We talked about the fact that total between 1.0 2.0, you did 12 years. How long did it take you in competing before you were crowned a title holder?
Well, that's a fun story. I started competing when I was 13. I was 13 years old. I was just a little teen with Shirley Temple curls and braces on a stage, having no idea what I was doing. And I competed 59 times, lost every single time, and on my 60th try, when I was 23, I believe I was still 20, no, I was 24 at the time. I was 24 at the time. A panel selected me as Miss High Desert Hills, and that was my 60th try.
Wow. That 60 tries. How did you find the confidence to keep pursuing it after that many times? Because I could imagine many other people not even trying half as much and just giving up.
You know, this is a hard thing for me to say, and this is just part of the transparency is there were times where I cried. There were times where I was upset. There were times where I went home and told my mom, I'm not sure if I can do this anymore. It's, I started to feel really down about myself, but the one thing that I told myself every single night I competed, one night, Valerie, you're going to walk into a judging room and you're going to be exactly what they're looking for. I told myself, I recited that like it was a mantra. And I believed in that wholeheartedly. There was never a moment where I didn't think my time wouldn't come. And it did. And when it came, it was just as magical as I always hoped it would be.
How have you been able to create this positive thinking mindset in terms of your self-confidence? Because I've heard it woven throughout the many different things that we've talked about in just this short beginning period of our interview.
I think it's important to remember that self-confidence starts with you, but self-confidence is expanded by the people around you. I take a lot. I internalize everything in regards to the people that are around me. I firmly believe that you are kind of an amalgamation of everybody that you meet throughout your life. And having such strong women in my life, like my mother, my grandmother, my sisters, and even women like you, who show me that it's okay to feel a little upset and sad sometimes. It's okay to feel disappointment. We're not perfect. But then you're also there to rejoice and share in my triumphs, and that's what really helps me. And I think it's important to remember that self-confidence starts with you, but self-confidence can also come from the people around you. And when you pay close attention to that, you're able to really feel the energy around you and use it to fuel the fire that's already inside you.
Have you had to cut out toxic people from your life that were draining or hindering your self-confidence?
I have had to, and it's a hard thing to do, and it's harder especially when those cutouts come from very close within, and I mean family and close circle of friends. As I talked about, this journey has not been a straight incline up to the top. This has been a zigzag of ups and downs, and there have been times where I've had people come up to me and say, maybe this isn't meant for you. Maybe you're not meant for this. Maybe if you lost a little bit of weight, you'd do better. Maybe if you wore a little bit more makeup, you'd measure up to the other girls. And hearing that, sometimes there are things that you hear that define you a little bit. And the only way that you can remove that definition is by removing the person who said that. And you have to understand that it's important and it's okay to do that if it helps to serve you in a positive way in terms of your mental, physical, and emotional health. Don't ever be afraid to remove a negative influence in your life that is deterring you from becoming your best self. I have not had to do it a lot, but every once in a while I do have to. And I just tell myself that it's for myself. You have to be a little bit selfish when it comes to your happiness and how you're able to progress on in life. So, does it happen to everybody throughout life? Absolutely. Absolutely. Has it happened to me? Yes, it has.
Well, boy, were they wrong, because this woman not only won one Miss America local title, but she also went on to do it again. And in that last year of eligibility, she placed in the top 12 at Miss California, which is no easy feat. And just getting to Miss California alone, it's one of the hardest states to try to get a local title for. There's a couple other big ones out there, but that journey up to that last time, what was that like for you in terms of prepping your self-confidence that got you to earn this spot?
Going to Miss California for the first time was absolutely surreal, because knowing how hard it was for me, how hard I had to work to get to that point, made me realize that there are other girls in this state that are going to work towards that same goal who won't be able to make it, or who may not have made it yet. And that made me incredibly grateful for the opportunity. So my first year that I went there to experience Miss California, to finally stand on the Soroyan Theater stage like all my role models before. And the first time I stepped on that stage, I actually started crying, because I was like, wow, I made it, I'm here. Did you ever think you were there?
I was.
When I started crying.
I was.
She was rubbing my back, she was like, it's okay. I was like, no, you have no idea. And I was like, you do have an idea.
It was special. But it was special, and I didn't have an idea, because I only started competing when I was 22, 23, and at that time you aged out at 24. Then they upped it to 25. I got one more year, but your journey is so special to talk about, so that's why I'm really wanting to know how it was like, not only the first time like you just talked about, but prepping for that second time when you know it's the last one, and how you really get your mind in that confident mode to put all of your best forward.
It's actually funny that you say that, because a lot of people this past year at Miss California loved my talent selection. I sang Come to Petiro, Time to Say Goodbye by Andrea Bocelli. And I told myself when I first started singing that one day I was going to sing that song in my last year of eligibility, whether I made it to state or not. So my first year as Miss High Desert Hills, even though that was the song I've always wanted to sing, and I was not guaranteed a trip back to Miss California, I chose not to perform it. I sang Figaro's Aria, which was also a very fun piece. But then I made it back to Miss California in the final year, and I actually saw that dream come true. I saw that piece unfold on stage. And I had reserved that song. I was never going to sing it until my final year. And it was a very, very special and magical moment for me as well, too. And it's hard, because you get to have all these amazing experiences. You get to be a local title holder. You get to go to the state competition. And then when you come back from that first year, you know that you're not guaranteed a second trip back. And I went through that first local season. I competed in an open, Miss San Bernardino County University Heights. I didn't win, and that was okay. And then I came and competed for Miss Anaheim Hills.
Yes.
And to my complete and utter shock, I won.
It was a great and special moment, because I love that we get to be Anaheim sister title holders forever.
We are always going to be part of Team Anaheim, you and I.
And you served your community so well. I just have to throw that out there again. This woman walks into every room with the highest level of confidence and just the most humble heart, and she's so approachable and so sweet, and she is literally there to serve. We got to do a lot of service events together. We served down on Skid Row for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and those events were really special, but this woman is just, oh man, she's amazing. She's got a heart of gold. I can't say it enough, and that's why she's probably won Miss Congeniality more times than anybody else.
Serving Anaheim was definitely the highlight of my year. Probably my favorite, it wasn't even an event, my favorite opportunity was when we were recognized by the city of Anaheim. We had our lovely mayor, Harry City, there, and he was giving out the awards, and after the presentation, I was out in the lobby, and former councilwoman Chris Murray came up to me and said, "Hi Valerie, do you remember me?" And I said, "I sure do. Fun fact, when I was a freshman in high school, I actually served as councilwoman of the day for the city of Anaheim under the wing of Chris Murray. So it felt like a very full circle moment.
Oh, I just got chills. I love it. I know this story, but every time I hear it, it's just meant to be.
I just loved it.
I love it. So just segueing back to that time at Miss California, so I love how you brought up your talent, and I'm going to ask you 2 questions here because we'll start talking about talent and then we'll circle back into that prep for that journey.
Okay.
When you started competing for Miss America, you actually danced, right?
I did monologues and then I danced.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we went through a lot of phases of talent.
We did.
Now, how did you come to sing, and how did you come to really get that confidence to pursue something as difficult as opera? I'm going to keep throwing side notes out for you listeners because you can see the Miss California competition on YouTube. And if you go watch this woman's, oh my goodness, her singing, it will be a gift to your ears. It is so beautiful. And her performance is amazing. Her voice is incredible. So, yeah, but where did you get that inspiration to sing, and how did you find the confidence to just go and... Opera is hard to pursue. How did you do it?
It is. That was probably one of the hardest parts of my Miss America journey was the talent competition. As you know, JR, but maybe the listeners don't know, talent is actually worth the most, regardless of teen or miss. Mm-hmm. It's a heavy part of your score, and it's something that you want to be invested in, you want to be passionate about, and you want to kind of have a lot of practice invested in it. So when I started out as a teen at 13, actually 13 through 17, I did monologues, self-written poems. I even wrote a palindrome one time to talk about the changes that were going on in our world. And while I absolutely loved doing that, I loved writing. You know, my joke is that if I had gotten a second major of my choosing, I would have been an English major because I love to write. I always knew deep down inside this was not quite the talent that I wanted to show on a Miss California level stage. And so my first Miss year was a very hard transition for me because my first Miss year was actually at Miss Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. It's a very hard transition from teen to Miss. You are introduced to the swimsuit portion. Your interview jumps from 6 minutes to 10 minutes. And the scoring is definitely a lot different. So doing that first competition away from my family, away from my friends, it was a tough change. And that was the year that I decided that I was going to try to dance. You know, the dancing days for Valerie are days we don't talk about.
Oh my gosh.
It was not the prettiest. Anybody who knows me now, and if I told them that I used to dance, they're like, oh, okay. Because everybody knows Valerie can't dance.
Unfortunately, I will attest, because her and I both struggle with the opening numbers all the time.
No, it's okay. Season puts us in the back row, and I'm fine with that.
Yep, same.
You know, I don't like to dance, and I'm not very good at dancing. I give kudos to the phenomenal dancers that are within MAO, because wow, am I blown away.
Yeah,
but
same.
Wow, could I never do that. So, I did that for 2 years. I tried to dance for 2 years. It didn't really work out, so I went back to monologues. When I came back to California, I decided that I was going to try singing. Now, at this time, I had joined my choir, a local choir at my college, and I gave it a try. Fun fact, they cut me from the choir.
Oh, no.
They cut me from the choir for lack of vocal capabilities. So...
Boy, were they wrong. They just had untapped wealth there.
I was like, well, yikes, if I got cut from a choir, I don't know if I'm the best singer. So what did Valerie do? She danced again. I performed a dance at Miss Orange County my first year back in the state of California. As you all can imagine, that went just as well as Pennsylvania. And I had a lot of great mentors through the journey, other executive directors that kind of started to know my name because I had started to compete even more throughout the state of California, who approached me and said, hey, let's try a couple other things. Have you tried singing? And I was like, oh, I don't know about singing. I got cut from my choir, so I don't know how good that's going to be. Well, I got a executive director to convince me to sing Taylor the Latte Boy by Kristen Chenoweth.
Oh, I love that one.
It's a fun one. It's a fun one. It was fun. I got a chance to be a little bit of a comedian. So I sang that for Miss Inland Empire back when it was around. You know, it was pretty well received. I actually got first runner-up at that competition.
Wow.
Which was the first time I'd gotten first runner-up since my Garden Grove's Outstanding Teen days. So I was like, okay, maybe I could sing. Maybe, perhaps. And I wasn't completely confident in that performance because it didn't quite feel like the right genre for me. Mm-hmm. As I started to pursue singing more and listen to myself more. And mind you, I did not have any vocal lessons whatsoever. This was all me trying to figure this out because I didn't want to get a vocal teacher and get very disappointed when they told me I could not sing. So I was like, I'm going to try and do this on my own. The next year, I decided to sing Don't Know Why by Norah Jones, a little bit more of like a jazzy vocal. Mm-hmm. That was fun. It was pretty well received. Again, I got the same feeling as Taylor the Latte Boy. Wasn't quite my genre. So, the next year, I went up to an executive director. I said, can we go in a room alone? She said, sure. And I said, I'm going to sing a song for you. I ask that you just please listen to it and just give me your honest opinion afterwards. And this was an executive director that I trusted very much, and I knew she would be completely transparent and honest with me as to whether or not I should just avoid this genre altogether. So we closed the door, and I sang O Mio Bambino Caro for her. She was expressionless the entire time. She had her eyes closed. She was just listening to me sing. Oh. And when I finished, she looked up at me and she said, why has this not been your talent before?
Oh my goodness.
And that statement alone, that honesty from somebody who was very prominent in a musical industry, mm-hmm. Like I said before, confidence starts with you, but confidence can also come from other people. That, me believing that I could sing it, and her reinvigorating it and believing in me as well, helped me to make the decision that, all right, I'm going to sing opera now.
And oh my gosh, sing it you did. My goodness. If you don't mind my asking, do I know who the director was?
You do, actually. This was back in my Miss National Orange Show days with the lovely Connie Bell and Bob Bell. They are actually the ones that helped me believe that I could sing at a level and a potential that I never thought was possible.
Oh my goodness, I love them. I absolutely adore them.
I adore the Bell family. And their positive reinforcement and their honesty with me really helped me believe, like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. And so I want to give a thank you to the Bell family for helping me find my own love in a genre that I was too afraid to pursue on my own. Without me having the courage and confidence to approach them, and without them having the confidence to believe in me, I'm not sure if I would have found that road to opera.
Now, segueing back into that last time at Miss Californian, you talked about when you were dreaming of that last time that you would be there, you were visualizing yourself singing that specific song, on that stage. How important do you think visualization of a goal or a dream is to building that confidence for that goal or dream?
I think when you visualize things, you'll find that they materialize. I believe in that a lot. When you visualize, it materializes. That's the first step in believing that you can do something. If you can't see yourself at that end goal, then you may not ever reach it. I had so many dreams. Even back before I won a local title, I had visions and ideas of what my crowning moment would be like. Would I cry? Would I not? Would I remember to keep my hands off of my face? Would I remember to smile? Would I remember to look straight at the camera so that I got a decent photo? I thought of all those things, and all of that went out the door the first time I was crowned. But I do think that visualization and my mantra helped me to reach that eventual end goal. And so I think it's important, JR. I think it's important that we visualize our goals, because without that visualization, that image of what it looks like, we're not going to know what we're working towards.
All the hard work that you put in to that last year, and being up there when they're calling the top 12, because you were called 12th.
I was.
What was it like in that moment for you? Give us that inside Valerie's mind in that moment.
So, here's me being honest. When I was standing on that stage and the top 12 was being called, I reverted back to old local Valerie before she ever won a competition. I stood there and I looked around at the other girls and I said, I wonder who it's going to be. Oh, she looks great. She looks great. Oh, she was fantastic. And the thought of me did not cross my own mind. And when they did call my name, as you listeners, if you look at the video, you can see the shock. The ugly crying face has resurfaced. It was a moment that was absolutely indescribable. And especially since my name was called last, I thought, I'm here, I had the best time of my life, I'm going to get to go home, serve my city of Anaheim, and cheer on our next Miss California. And actually, the night before, when they asked us to pack up our dresses and our suitcases and put them on our desks in case we got called from the top 12, I actually didn't pack half my stuff. I was helping the girls around me.
Oh my gosh.
Because I said, you know what? It's not going to be me. Let me help the other girls around me. Funny enough, Eileen and I were beta buddies. I was helping her pack her station. I said, Eileen, can I help you? She's like, what about your stuff? I was like, yeah, I can wait.
Oh my goodness. And
I ended up not packing half my stuff, so thank you to the hostesses who helped me that night, because I did not have a couple things.
Oh my goodness, Valerie.
And that was the old Valerie coming out. The old Valerie who wasn't really confident in herself, who was a bystander for the other girls who were going to win. She wasn't an upstander for herself. So it gave me one last reminder that even though you have achieved so much and you can achieve so much, you can still have those moments of self-doubt. And I had that moment right before they called my name. But when they called my name, it's indescribable. How do you go 12 years, 63 competitions, lose almost 95% of those, and come and make it into the top 12 for the state of California? It's crazy. It's crazy. That sounds like the kind of stuff that happens in a fairy tale or in a motivational fictional book. Doesn't sound like something that gets to happen in real life.
But it did.
But it did. It did. And that moment was so, so special. I still sometimes watch the video when I'm feeling down a little bit, and it gives me that gentle reminder that dreams do really come true. They really, really do.
And for our listeners that may not know, when she's referencing Eileen, Eileen is actually our current Miss California, Eileen Kim. She's fantastic, and she is
amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna have her.
Queen Eileen.
Queen Eileen, she is. We're gonna have Eileen on a future episode, so be on the lookout for that, because it'll be.
Oh, listeners, you're gonna want to tune into that one, because Eileen is absolutely iconic.
She really is.
She is.
But back to the icon we have in front of us right now. Valerie, how do you reconcile those moments of self-doubt with the self-confidence that you have worked so hard to gain? Because like you mentioned, it is natural, and we do all fall back into that.
Yes, we do. It's part of the self-confidence is understanding that you are not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I think actually my confidence does stem from knowing that I am able to transcend beyond that self-doubt. I look at myself and I say, I have self-doubt. But when I take a good look in the mirror and I look at myself, I know that I'm better than the self-doubt that I plant in my own mind. And that's what gives me more confidence. Because I know that I'm stronger than the doubts I have about myself.
How much of your self-confidence do you attribute to the Miss America organization?
Oh, wow. This is going to be hard for you listeners to understand, but if you saw my farewell video of 13-year-old Valerie as she strolled across the stage in her Shirley Temple curls, her hunched shoulder, saying, "I've never been in a pageant before, but this seems like fun." The transformation, I owe a lot to the Miss America organization. I really do. And it would be selfish of me to not give them the credit where it's due. Miss America has shaped me in so many ways, more than I'll ever be able to, I think, repay. And it first helped me propel myself into that journey of self-discovery. Understanding what my true talents are. Understanding that I can interview successfully as a woman in the corporate world. Understanding that I'm able to give my opinion freely to the world and on stage and to viewers, and they'll accept my opinion because I approach it from an autonomous standpoint. Miss America truly has helped me become the woman that you're listening to right now, and that gets to walk around at school campus and at work and gets to help people. And I'm truly grateful. I really am. There's just no other words other than I'm grateful.
I think you're doing a wonderful job of the repaying that you want to give back to this organization, because you are now actually an associate director for the Miss Anaheim program.
I am. I sure am.
How has it been switching gears from contestant to associate director?
So to be honest, everybody, my family especially, loves to remind me how old I am now that I've aged out of Miss America.
Oh, the worst.
So, that is something that I am still trying to come to terms with. I turned 26 in 2 weeks, so that's even getting worse.
It's good on this side, I promise.
Oh, no. I'm still trying to deal with the old part. Not being able to compete anymore because I'm so old.
Well, your mother and grandma are aging flawlessly, so you got nothing to worry about. You're following suit just fine.
Thank you. But getting to be on this other side, I was actually just telling our executive directors, Sharon and Patrick, the other day, I told them, I see why you do it. I see why you do it. Having my own group of girls, I have a group of 6. It's a big team. Team Anaheim is a big team. I have a group of 6 girls. And I don't know them just as Miss Anaheim Hills, Miss Canyon Hills, and their teens. I know them as the people that they are. And because I get to see their personal life, their school, their family, what they like to do outside of pageantry, I get to see the real people that they are. And I get to share in the ups and downs of their personal lives. And it has strengthened our bond as associate director and title holders. And again, it shows me the why. I got the opportunity to be the guest speaker at Fall Workshop last year before I gave up my title as Miss Anaheim Hills.
And what is Fall Workshop?
Fall Workshop is the orientation for all the executive directors and associate directors. They all come up in November to Fresno. They sit in a big room. They learn about all the changes that are going to happen for the year and what the new contracts and rules are going to be. And every year, Fall Workshop has a guest speaker. It's usually a motivational speaker, or it could be, somebody in pageant land. But they've actually never had a title holder be the guest speaker. So when I was invited to do that, I was shocked. I said, "Me? Why me? I'm just Valerie. I'm just a title holder." And when I got up there, I opened the floor for questions before I started to speak, which is a little untraditional. Normally you open up the floor to questions after you speak, but I opened it up first. And the first question that came to me was, just like you asked me, why did you continue to compete knowing that the night before you had not won? And so I got the opportunity to share with them my story and what propelled me confidence-wise to keep competing. And I flipped the script on them and I said, now I'd like you to answer a question for me. What is your why? Why are you sitting in this room? And I got a little, she was taken aback, like, huh? I said, yeah, why? You know why I'm standing here. Why are you sitting there? She said, well, I guess it's because of girls like you. And I said, I hope that when I become an executive director or an associate director, I get to share in that same why. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm in this position, I'm proud to say that I do have that why. I do have the why that's going to keep me in this position for a while, and who knows, maybe even CEO of Miss California one day.
I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it for one bit. In navigating this new role, do you feel that you're able to be more confident in this director position because you have been not only affiliated with the organization for long, but especially as a competitor in the organization?
I do. I have a lot of wisdom now to share. Yay! That comes with the being old part, I think. I have so much to share with the young women in this organization, and I don't share it just with my title holders. I share it to any girl who comes up to me for help. I could never turn away a girl who wanted guidance, wanted to ask a question, or just needed help or somebody to listen to her talent or her interview, because when I was going through my journey with Miss America, I relied on that. I reached out to people to help me, to listen to me. You know, as I mentioned before, the Bells, they listen to me sing. And without mentors like that and people to listen and hear you out, you're not going to be able to become a better version of yourself than from the night before. So I think my experience has really helped me in this new role and facilitate my job. And obviously there's new aspects. You know, there's paperwork, there's, you know, the clerical side of it. But I think my experience has really prepared me for this role. And I encourage title holders who are just leaving the system to come back and be associate directors and executive directors, because we really do have that fresh vision that our girls need. Mm-hmm. But we also have amazing executive directors like my own, Sharon Cortez, that are able to offer that longevity of wisdom. I have that fresh wisdom, and they've got that old wisdom. And I think that's why we're such an effective Team Anaheim right now, because we're able to have two different perspectives, you know? I taught Sharon the other day how to use a hashtag and look up a story on Instagram.
That is beautiful.
And in the same aspect, she taught me a whole lot of stuff about Excel and Word, and I have not used those in a very long time because I use Google Docs or Pages. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we have a give and take relationship there.
Teams are very important.
It's important. And you build each other's confidence when you are part of a team. You should know this, JR. You play rugby, so you know that your team gives you, I know, I'm so proud of you, but you know that a team can be a big source of confidence.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. Teams are, it goes back to what you said about who you surround yourself with, because it really does either feed in to the confidence that you're trying to build, or it will be absolutely draining from the confidence you're trying to build.
I agree, 100%. And it's about who you surround yourself with. And, you know, in Miss America, there's a lot of those girls that you get to surround yourself with. Mm-hmm. Like you know?
And like you. And I've had another one of our very good friends on here. Some of you listeners may have heard her episode, Raina Ramirez. And you get to hear how all these women of different walks of life have different stories, different roads they've traveled, different hurdles they've overcome. But they've all found a way to create their own self-confidence that has propelled them to be able to pursue their own passions in such successful ways. And, you know, we have in rugby, it's called a tight five, and it's the way that you kind of, it's a thing where you have to be together and to support yourself in a thing called a scrum. And it's funny because in our group of girls that we've become best friends with through Miss America, it's a tight five. So I love to see how aspects of sport, pageantry, just life kind of transcend.
I agree.
I love the sisterhood that we all have, and the way that we pick each other up when the other person's down. We remind them, like you said, we see what the other one doesn't see in themselves, and we tell them what we see.
Exactly. And that's important, because we all have that self-doubt. We all have that insecurity, but it's about the people that are around you that can help you overcome that. It's yourself that ultimately makes that decision, but the people around you can help facilitate that decision.
Valerie, if you could offer one piece of advice to the listeners to help them exercise confidence every day, what would it be?
I would have to say that when you look in the mirror at yourself, don't look through your own lens. Look at the lens of your mother, your sister, your brother, your father, your best friend, your educator. Look through that lens. And when you're able to see what that lens sees, then you're going to find that confidence that you need.
Wiser words have never been spoken on this podcast, I can assure you. So, Valerie, I just want to thank you so much for being with us today, sharing not only your time, but the wisdom that you've cultivated in your own life. We'll end on a little fun note here. In the beginning, you did mention that you've traveled to 48 states. So which are the which two have you not been to?
Which two have I not been to? I haven't been to Alaska and I haven't been to Iowa.
Oh, interesting. Okay, random.
Right, very random, very random. It was a cross-country road trip. AAA mapped it out for us, and we were able to maximize as many states as possible. It was like a 3-week trip. It was fun.
And during that time, what was the weirdest food that you ate? Because you mentioned that too.
Oh, yes. So it's actually, it was in Texas. In Texas, there's an airport there. I forget the name of it. But there's an airport specifically that has a restaurant that sells these chili-covered crickets and these buttered silkworm puree. I'm not even kidding.
And you ate them?
I sure did. Right. I ate them. Mm-hmm.
Were they good?
They kind of, the silkworms kind of tasted like corn, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Like buttery corn.
Yeah.
And the crickets kind of tasted like, I don't know, like fried chicken. I
don't know. Okay. Doesn't sound that bad, I guess, huh?
No, it wasn't too bad, you know. I didn't hate it. It wouldn't be my dish of choice, but wasn't bad.
Well, again, Valerie, I thank you so much for being here today. It means the world to me, and I know that you're going to encourage so many of our listeners. If you would like to get in touch with Valerie, we will link her socials in the description.
Well, thank you, JR, for the message that you spread about confidence and having that self-love in yourself, because that message is something that is not given out freely too much now in today's society. So the fact that you're spreading it around, it's an honor to be able to be a part of this podcast and share it, because women like you are really helping other young women who need this confidence.
And likewise, sister, you are too, with your messages and just how authentic you always are, and just being your most true self. It's the best anecdote to this world that we live in today, for sure.
Oh.
I can't thank you enough for all your support too. Like you're seeing here, she's thanking me on my own show, and I should be thanking her. So, you're the best, sister. I wish you all the best, and we can't wait to keep up with you and just see all the great, wonderful things you're going to keep doing in this world.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you. I love you. Well, what did I tell you? This woman is amazing. I hope that you took what Val said to heart and a lot of the sentiments that she dispensed today. She really helped us understand that not only do we have to make sure that confidence begins with us, and that we are visualizing those big moments for ourselves and finding ways to really create the confidence within ourselves by trying things, but to make sure that the network of people surrounding us are also feeding into that confidence and not trying to chip away at it. These two big pieces of advice that she gave us, I think, can really be worked in daily to help all of us exercise confidence even better and stronger. If you'd like to stay up to date with all of Val's amazing endeavors, you can follow her at the socials that we have her tagged in the description. Now, for next week, we've got another amazing woman on the podcast. Her name is Abby Omolafe. Abby is an immigrant from Nigeria, and she's going to talk about some of the struggles that she's faced and had to overcome here in the United States. She also lost her parents at a very young age, so we're going to talk about why she's such a big advocate for supporting orphans and foster youth. Abby has such a strong sense of self, and this woman is literally going to change the world one day. She's pursuing her Bachelor of Arts in Political Science right now at Cal State Long Beach, and she hopes to go to Harvard Law School. So tune in to hear all the ways in which Abby is just killing it with how she chooses to exercise confidence in her daily life. But for now, signing off, I am Jaron Asari, and I truly hope that you find a way to exercise confidence every day.